We are going to make Sam Houston's famous barbecue sauce. Honored to be here today with Judge Ken Wise. Ken, in his workaday life, is a district judge, and he also has a very famous podcast called Wise About Texas, which is Texas history, Texas little known facts. Tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Well, I started the podcast back in 2015 as a way to sort of produce some Texas history. I've consumed it all my life and love Texas, and I felt like I needed to start giving back. Writing articles, which I do, takes a long time, but I thought no one was really doing a Texas history podcast, and I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. It's something new and different because I give talks on Texas history all over the state, and now it's become so big I can't quit, but it's really been a lot of fun.
And the other very famous thing that he does, president of the Texas State Historical Association.
Yes, TSHA we call it, and it was founded in 1897 by a group of people at the University of Texas. We've got the greatest history of any state in this nation, and I say that without reservation. And it's our duty to promote it and help people learn about it.
Amen. Now, this barbecue sauce recipe, like many recipes, we don't know exactly how it came down the tubes and how it passed through time, but it's the Early American Cookbook by Dr. Christy Lynn and Robert Pelton. So that's the cookbook that it's in. We'll be using some products today. We're not sure if exactly those products were available at Sam Houston's time, but it's made so that you can go home and make it yourself. And Sam Houston was known for liking to barbecue, right?
He loved it. You know, barbecue has been around in some form or another since the Spanish explorers. They talked about in some of their records cooking meat over a fire, which is all that barbecue is. Well, I guess in Central Texas you cook it over the fire. In other parts you cook it indirectly, etc. We'll have to get into all of that. But Sam Houston barbecue was a staple and has been in Texas life and other parts of the country.
Yeah, but we claim it here in Texas. Yeah,
we perfected it for sure.
And I think Sam Houston liked to entertain, from what I've read about him. He liked to have people over.
Sam Houston liked to party. Period. Yes, he was well known for that, and he was a big guy. Obviously, liked to eat. So the way you would put on your best foot forward would be to cook barbecue.
It always feeds a crowd.
Absolutely.
It's an easy way to feed a crowd. All right, let's get to it. We're just going to jump in here together. And
right.
I have my glasses on because I can't see diddly squat without my glasses. So we have our saucepan here, and it starts out with 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. So we've got cooking oil right here.
Now, I'm not used to measuring, but we're going to measure, so we don't want to...
We'll follow the recipe so you all at home can make it. And then while you're doing that, I have grated some onion. I just used a grater and already have this ready. So we're going to take this. This is a 1/4 cup of grated onion, and we're going to pour it in here. And we're going to let this just simmer. So this is just, all this is in here is just the grated onion and the cooking oil. And I'm also going to cut up the garlic, and we're going to add that to it. So I already have the garlic peeled. I learned this little trick whenever I cooked with Matthew Wendell, who was the Bush's chef. He taught me how to just chop up garlic. He said fresh garlic is always the best. Always the best. Add in here a bit more. We're just going to let that saute a little bit.
Already smells good.
So we have it nice and simmering and a nice little bubble thing going on here. And we're going to add a cup of ketchup. Do we know if ketchup was around back in the day?
I think ketchup was around.
All right. And then a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. And that is actually, I asked a lot of people about Worcestershire sauce because I wasn't sure. They said, no, it's a very old ingredient. It's been around for quite a while. And then a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And I've got that right over there already poured for you. Ooh, it's starting to smell good. 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. There's our white vinegar. I can stir if you want to pour.
extra on the vinegar
Oh,
because
there
of the
you-
style of this sauce.
There you
Tells
go.
me that we're going to want to use it to baste and mop as well as put on the finished product.
So we want plenty of it. Okay, and then we need a teaspoon of hot sauce.
All right, now the hot sauce is interesting because hot sauce, as we know it, really probably didn't exist in Sam Houston's time, but who knows? I mean, they probably made their own, and so we won't know for sure what it is. Yeah, some speculated they'd use chili piquin but I'm not sure that didn't really grow in Huntsville as much, where Sam Houston lived. But I'm grateful that we have hot sauce now, so in it goes.
Exactly. Okay, and then it has a 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And 2
use more salt.
Yeah, actually and then 2 tablespoons of sugar, and that's what that is right there.
Oops. Okay.
That's okay.
There you go. That's why I'm a judge, not a chef.
But you did say that you won a chili cook-off.
I
and
did,
you retired as the winner, and
I did.
That's a good way to end it.
Retired from my one and only chili cook.
Yeah, and then there's 2 teaspoons of paprika, a tablespoon of dry mustard. Oh, let's see. First, chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder. And again, you've talked about chili powder was probably not available.
You know, chili powder really wasn't
Take that lid
a
off.
product until Mexican food became more popular in the late 1800s. So, but they would have 2 teaspoons.
Uh-huh.
They would probably dry their own peppers and use that.
1 tablespoon of dry mustard.
Mustard is, in my opinion, the key to these sauces.
And 2 teaspoons of water, and I've got that right over here. All right, that's a wrap. And now it tells us that we're just going to bring it to a boil, which it is boiling right now. And then we're going to cover it and let it simmer for 20 minutes.
All right.
So we'll let this simmer, and we'll go chat a little bit about Sam Houston. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, so this has been simmering for 20 minutes, and I think it's time for a test. What
It sure
do you think?
smells good. I can't wait to try
it
it.
does.
All right,
Go ahead.
let me try it. I'm going to try not to burn my mouth here. Strong. Good.
Oh, yes.
You can get all the flavor. I love the garlic. I'm going to go in a little bit.
Another taste.
That's really good.
All good chefs always taste something. That's what I mean. So,
I think it's got great flavor, but it's got real strong flavor. But when you put vinegar and lemon, those are things, the acids in that are designed to break down the meat a little bit, tenderize it, and the oil helps all the other ingredients stay on. So I would put this on anything that you put. Wouldn't put it on brisket. I'd put it on ribs, pork tenderloin. It'd be excellent on pork tenderloin. You could even do it in the oven as kind of not a marinade, but just put it on right when you put it in the oven, and then if you baste it with that, it would work on chicken, anything that's going to take that flavor, because it's got such great flavor.
oh, yeah. And, back in Sam's day, I mean, I can even think back to my grandmother. They would have butchered a hog.
Right.
They would have had to probably barbecue the whole hog if they were having people over. Or they would have had ribs from, the cow or the hog, either one. Or they would have done just a bunch of chickens. So, yeah, everything was fresh.
And I sort of like I'm not a real stickler for details, so I'd take a pot roast maybe and put it on there. I don't know if I'd do it on a prime rib, but any piece of meat that you really are going to cook slow, I think this would be excellent.
Great. Well, this was fun. Thank you so much.
It really was. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been great. And we have a tradition here at Texicurians.
All right.
Once we cook together, then you are a Texicurian.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. Great.
You to take home.
Good.
And I have one more special gift for you. I hope other people are not envious that I've only shared this with you. But this book, Pioneer Women in Texas.
Oh, wonderful.
Annie Doon Pickrell was my dad's landlord at the University of Texas.
I'll be darned.
And she wrote this book initially in the 20s because she realized that there were still people alive related to Texas history that she could interview and get some good information from. The very first person that she has in the book is Margaret Lee, Mrs. Sam. used.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is for you.
Thank
Hopefully
you so
can
much.
Use it in your
And-
podcast for something. There'll be some secret stories in there
Absolutely.
that you didn't know about Texas women.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much. This has
much.
been great.